On First Alert Weather Extra, we're bringing the first alert for freezing temperatures tonight and for your Friday morning. We talk about how cold we're expecting it to get and how you should prepare for your weekend.
Plus, we talk about wind chill and how that plays a role in forecasting these winter temperatures and how you can protect your home from these cold conditions.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
Okay, who's with me? Can we bring October back?
Oh, you want October back?
It was nice. It was warm. It was comfortable, you know? Maybe not?
No. We live in the present, not the past.
Well, there you go. That's okay. Hey, that's the way to go, I guess.
But hey, I get it though. The weather was warmer. We're getting really cold here, and I know you said you don't like this cold weather.
Well,
not a fan.
The wind. It's the wind.
It's the wind.
If it calms down, I can handle it. You know, the other night it was very calm, but it dropped to like 21 degrees in a lot of areas. That's the thing. Tomorrow night it's going to drop a lot colder.
Yeah, it's going to be cold out there. So bundle up. What's the next big thing, Wes?
Well, cold. Cold is the word. Yeah, look at it. I mean, this cold air is just spilling in right now. You can see it on the temperature map as we loop back over the past few hours, and now we are down to freezing. I just checked at Coleman. You can see there at 32, and we're at 35 in Aniana. Still seeing some 40s though further south, but the 30s and the 20s are on the way, so be ready for those cold conditions. No precipitation out there. There was a little bit of ground clutter that you saw there on the radar, but you can see wind chill now a big factor for at least half the area. And look at the wind chill at Hamilton now showing down to 26, 28 for us here in Gadsden, Rainbow City areas. And again, Coleman, look at the dew point down to 9 degrees. This is very dry air. I know sometimes we break out the static meter. That's going to be a big story out there too. One of those, when it gets cold and dry like this, just every door handle, it seems like you get shocked when you touch it. But it's very cold, very dry, no precipitation, but a hard freeze is possible out there tonight. The wind, though, may actually keep it from going as cold as it could potentially go tomorrow morning. Wind lows in the teens north and 20s, possible single-digit wind chills. And again, make sure you consider protecting all the P's there, the pipes, the pets, people, and the plants tonight with these temperatures. Again, 20s, we'll see similar temperatures tomorrow night. So we have a couple of nights coming up with these kind of conditions out there. So you may want to let those faucets drip. And 21 around Pell City tomorrow morning, and 22 you can see around Birmingham. Wind chills in the morning, a few single digits, certainly not out of the question, especially across the Tennessee Valley. First alert weather day for areas north of our coverage area for that possibility of a widespread single-digit wind chills, places like Huntsville and over around Muscle Shoals tomorrow to start the day. But out the door tonight, yeah, you'll want to dress in layers. You'll need the hat, the gloves, and the heavy jacket out there. It's going to be a cold one, but we're going to be talking a lot more about the cold temperatures going into the weekend and also how the pattern's going to shift, and we're going to see a lot of rain by the start of next week. That is all coming up. But dozens of people took advantage of the warming station at the Jimmy Hill Mission in Birmingham over the past few days. Staff and the mission tell us that between 65 and 75 people arrived to the station, and the first 3 nights it was open. And when overnight lows were below freezing, the station will do that again tonight and Friday night. It will be open, and the Jimmy Hill Mission is offering shuttle service to help those without transportation stay warm. The shuttle will pick up from the main entrance of Lynn Park between 6 and 7 p.m. Tania?
And those temperatures and these cold conditions continue to drop throughout the night tonight. Meteorologist Megan Thomas has the latest on previous records set on December 6th, and if we have the possibility to pass it with these cold temps tonight.
We've been talking about some of the coldest air so far this season, and tonight that could deliver. The record low for tonight heading into December 6th. Birmingham is 14 degrees, set back in 1937. Tuscaloosa's 23 from 2008, and in Anniston, 21 degrees from 1962. I want you to remember Anniston at 21 because tomorrow morning, overnight lows could be in the 20s. 21 is what we're forecasting for the city of Anniston, so we could absolutely tie the record from 1962. Birmingham, we're going to be hanging out in the low 20s. Tuscaloosa also could get close to their record low for tomorrow morning. Now look at Coleman, 17, Jasper, 19, Hamilton, 18 degrees. But even if we're not going to touch record lows, you've got to be worried about the wind chill. The wind chill is how how cold it's going to feel tomorrow morning when you factor in winds gusting upwards of 15 to 20 miles an hour. It could feel like the single digits, teens here in town. Bottom line is you need to remember the 4 P's. Always bring your pets, the people inside, and of course your sensitive plants. And tonight would be probably a good idea to go ahead and wrap your pipes. Join me tomorrow on Good Day when we look at the actual air temperature and see if we broke any records.
Well, taking you across America now and across the country to the West Coast, where a powerful magnitude 7.0 earthquake struck about 45 miles offshore of Eureka, California. It was felt across southern Oregon down to Napa Valley and San Francisco. Multiple aftershocks have already been reported, with a second earthquake striking near Ferndale at a magnitude of 5.8. This was the strongest in the region since 2005, when a magnitude 7.2 occurred.
That's right, Tania. The quake even prompting a tsunami warning earlier today from Davenport to the California-Oregon border. In places like even San Francisco Bay was included. It expired shortly after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tsunamis are a series of long waves caused by disruptions in the ocean, most commonly earthquakes. When you have those strike-slip faults along the tectonic boundaries and causes those, of course, we all know about the all-familiar tsunami that happened in the Indian Ocean region several years ago. But check this out. Even in California, the First Alert weather team is always on your side. Check out this tweet from Jason Brown sharing that the First Alert weather app notified him about the tsunami warning in his location in California. So you have freeze warnings and tsunami warnings. You can pick those up right there on the First Alert weather app. Hey, just scan the QR code. We're with you and wherever you are. You can download the app either from the Google Play or the Apple App Store, and it is free. Just download it and search WBRC in your app store.
Thanks, Wes. And as we continue to talk about the snow events happening across the northern part of the country, take a look at this snow event that brought lightning and thunder to Ohio last night. Yeah, you can kind of hear it there in the background. That's thunder. And this was in Aurora. And this phenomenon is actually called thunder snow. While it's a rare occurrence, it can happen when warm air is pulled into a snowstorm, causing more convection and instability. Thunder snow is most likely to happen during any heavy snow event. It all comes after the Alberta Clipper is making its way across the Midwest to the Northeast this week. Well, coming up in 30 seconds, we're taking you to the skies as we talk about some cool clouds you can only catch in the evening. Plus, we talk more about those cold temperatures on the way for your weekend. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, well, if you have plans out there this evening, it is a cold one. We have temperatures below freezing just around 8 p.m. for most areas, and those temps overnight dropping down into the 20s. It's going to be a cold night, holding on to mostly clear, if not clear night skies, and a little breezy too. So when you incorporate the winds, well, it's going to feel colder. And let's talk briefly about the next big thing, but just keep in mind tomorrow morning is going to be a really cold one. So bring out those extra layers so you can stay nice and warm. And matter of fact, limit your time outdoors during those early morning hours and those late night hours when it's just too cold to be outside, okay? And then the afternoons, we're only really going to see highs in the 40s for your Friday afternoon, but we have cold temps again early Saturday down into the 20s, so below freezing temps once again. Here's a quick look at that out-the-door forecast tomorrow. We will see lots of sunshine for your Friday, but the air will not feel very warm. We're talking low 20s at 7 a.m. when many of your kiddos are heading to the bus stop. You may be heading to work at that point. Give your cars and your vehicles some extra time to warm up before you hop in them and drive away. We'll have more on that full 7-day and that returning rain chance next week coming up in just a bit. But meteorologist Lauren Linehan brings the extra look at temperatures as she explains wind chill and how that factors into tomorrow's chilly morning.
Well, one of the most potent things about this Arctic blast is that the wind is still going to be blowing, making the temperatures feel that much more colder and that much more potent. So let's talk about the science behind wind chill. We want to give you the weather lowdown on how exactly it works. So let's talk about when winds are calm. Yeah, it's still going to be cold outside if winds are calm, but the deal is when winds are calm, we don't have anything taking away our body heat. So the layer of heat that is generated naturally by our body, and hopefully the warm clothes we're wearing, will stay put. The problem is when the wind starts blowing, that body heat, that little insulating layer we have, escapes because the wind blows it away. So that little safe layer we had is long gone. And you know something else that can get cold? Our pipes. Obviously, we always say remember the 4 P's, bring in your pets, cover up or bring in your plants. But when we have a hard freeze, that is specifically when the temperature drops to 28 degrees or below for an extended period of about a few hours. That's when you have to worry about taking care of your pipes, that all important 4th P. So how do you prevent pipes from freezing? Well, first of all, you don't want to leave any outdoor water sources running. If you have any hose or any faucets out there, you want to make sure that they are not running, of course. But if you also have some more sensitive pipes that are exposed to the elements, make sure those are covered up. And before you go to bed at night, this is something a lot of us will do when we have a hard freeze, even if we don't have those more sensitive pipes, you can let the faucet strip at night. Now, we only say to do this when there is a hard freeze because typically if you don't have a hard freeze, it's not going to be as big of an issue. But sometimes you can also add a little bit of warmer air to get in under that kitchen bathroom sink by opening up the cabinets a bit. Now, if you have cats like me, you can't open it up too much because they'll get in there and they'll cause some problems, get into all those cleaning materials. So if you can just kind of push it open just a little bit, that's always a good idea. And of course, don't let the heat get any lower than 55 degrees. So let's just kind of look at a house. How does this work? So outside, let's say you have a spigot that is exposed. What you can do is actually get a spigot covering, and covering that up will prevent that issue with any potential freezing. So you want to, as I mentioned before, if you have any outdoor hoses, remove and put them up so they're not prone to that flow of water getting in the way of things. And then as we go further here, as I mentioned, dripping your faucets at night, that's going to help as that water flows through the ground, through the pipes. It's going to give it some insulation. Allowing that movement is going to prevent it from being stagnant and the possibility of your pipes bursting. So hopefully we get through this cold snap without any issues. But I mean, if this is the start of winter in December, we got a long way to go, Wes and Tania.
All right, what's interesting, a lot of times it's always the hot water lines that freeze rather quickly. Thank you, Lauren. We're going above and beyond the atmosphere to a stunning image. This was captured by Jane Lee. Actually, Jane Lee shared this. Her husband was on his way to work driving towards Tuskegee on I-85 and pulled over to capture this image. I mean, this looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. This was looking back to the east. This is a noctilucent cloud. And what you're seeing is a cloud that was set off by the SpaceX launch yesterday morning. So if you saw that, if you were out right before sunrise and you saw that cloud, that's what you were seeing. It was what's called a noctilucent cloud. It's a highest cloud that can occur, and it happens actually in the mesosphere. So keep in mind, we have the troposphere where 90% of our weather happens, then we have the stratosphere, and then there is the mesosphere, 250,000 to 280,000 feet up into the atmosphere. And what happened, all that water vapor trail from that rocket, actually as it froze, we saw in the cloud patterns there during the morning really setting off those colors. But often this is spotted most often in nature, happening in the twilight hour in the higher latitudes, closer to the poles and far north. But we don't see those naturally occurring around here unless, of course, you have a SpaceX launch. And we've been seeing quite a few photos of even some of the launches captured here from the state of Alabama. But quite fascinating to see that over our state. But still ahead on First Alert Weather Extra, rain chances increase as we head into next week. And we're talking about the formation of mold in your moment of science. Stay tuned for more Weather Extra. All right, welcome back to Weather Extra cold across Alabama tonight. Lows in the teens and 20s. Possible single-digit wind chills across far northern areas. So make sure everything's properly winterized for tonight. We take a look at those temperatures. You can see the wind stays out of the north, so a bit of a wind chill factor through tonight. And look how quickly those readings are falling. The temperatures in the model data a little bit colder than actually what we're seeing right now. It's right at freezing at Coleman, but the temperatures are running just a few degrees higher than some of the guidance just based on what I'm seeing right now. But in the morning around 6 o'clock, still seeing data that supports the possibility of some teens and 20s. This is the latest data you're seeing right here. So again, out the door tomorrow morning, and the wind chills certainly in the teens. The rest of the day, it's going to be cold. The good news, we rise above freezing even for areas to the north. Notice Center 39, Pell City, Aniana, Birmingham north to Coleman, Tuscaloosa north to Hamilton. Areas to the south, of course, in the 40s around Clanton and over towards Centerville. But sunny weather for tomorrow, and then by Saturday morning, more 20s again. So we start the weekend Saturday with freezing conditions, then we warm up into the 50s Saturday, a dry day. Saturday's your day, better day this weekend. Maybe you need to take a family photo for the Christmas cards or have plans there on Saturday. Sunday, rain comes back, and we're going to be tracking some wet weather. This will mostly be West Alabama during the day Sunday into the afternoon, and then it sets in Sunday night and into Monday morning. And there's a chance some more rain could come around during the day on Monday, but we're seeing this in waves, periods of wet weather. A soggy setup here starts by Sunday night, continues into Tuesday. Again, some more waves of rain lifting in across the area. Maybe a rumble of thunder. I can't rule out a thunderstorm, but no severe weather expected. And then as this all wraps up later next week, Wednesday into Thursday, there's still a chance a trailing upper low could squeeze out some showers. And this model just in actually looks kind of interesting here. It shows the possibility maybe some snow flurries or snow showers over the Tennessee Valley perhaps later next week. Of course, this could change quite a bit by then, but certainly interesting to see. It's something we're going to be watching over the next several days, but it does suggest that we do have quite a few changes again on the way for next week. That's December in Alabama. Notice Sunday into Monday, again, temperatures warming up. So we go from a low tonight near 22 degrees. We're back up to near 70 by Tuesday with rain. And then you can see in Wednesday and Thursday, probably end up with 2 to 3 inches of rain in some areas through the middle of next week. But that's what we're going to be tracking, and had a fun time today talking about weather in the classroom at Carbon Hill Elementary School. And it was fun seeing all the kiddos there today, the kindergartners through the 8th grade, and man, listen to that crowd. They had a great time, and just talking about meteorology, and a lot of snow fans excited about Christmas time around the corner. And of course, I always have to bring the guitar. So we sang some weather songs, and we also had a few Christmas carols there. We sang Rudolph, had a lot of fun singing that, but had a lovely cake. Look at that yummy cake right there. I want to thank Miss Kendra Dove, all the staff, the faculty, just a wonderful school there at Carbon Hill Elementary School. The Bulldogs, and always fun to visit. And yeah, check this out, Tania. I appreciate you holding that up. Yeah, they had a nice little welcome for me there at Carbon Hill today. But a lot of Fox Channel 6 fans there in the house.
Oh yeah, we love to see it. I think that is so cool. Hey,
Yeah.
and if you notice in your video, Wes, there was a little kid in the front row.
I know.
Curled up. That'd have been me.
Oh, yeah.
He was chilling.
Well, I think it was a little chilly out
A
there
little
today.
chilly,
It was a
you know.
little
He was
chilly.
trying to stay warm.
But everybody, listen, I'm sure they're going to have a nice nap tonight, because, I mean, we were jumping and singing songs and having a good time out there today. But,
I love it.
So talking about beyond the 7-day forecast, and I posted about it on Facebook. A lot of folks asking next week. Certainly, the one thing we're certain about, a lot of rain to start the week.
Oh yeah, Wes, definitely that. So we're going to pull up our other screen right here to show you our outlook, because as you see, it's some blue down there in the southeast. Some areas across the U.S. could be seeing above average temperatures. This is from December the 11th to the 15th, but that does not include us here at home. We will be looking colder than normal. And as far as rainfall, still looking below normal as far as precipitation here across central Alabama, but that doesn't mean that the rain next week won't do us some good. From the corners of your shower to blue cheese in the fridge, mold is everywhere. Dan Smith has the good and bad behind those scores of spores in your moment of science.
It's a kind of fuzzy fungi that can be hazardous to your health, but can also help it. This week, we're exploring the microscopic world of mold. At a base level, mold is just fungi, but not all fungi can form mold, hence you don't exactly have red toadstool mushrooms growing in your shower. There are actually thousands of species of mold out there, and they all need some level of moisture to thrive and some sort of organic food source. All that green moss surrounding a pretty forest waterfall may check both of those marks, but it's not a fungi, more closely related to algae. Mold formation is simple enough. Tiny spores float through the air and eventually land on a surface, rocks, showers, fresh fruit, whatever, and multiply from there. Nutrients, moisture, and time are your key players, as mold can begin to grow anywhere from 1 to 10 days after those conditions are met. It's not just a skin-deep issue when it comes to food. Just because you see mold only growing on the peel of an orange or only on the outside of bread doesn't mean you can only cut that part out and assume the rest is fine. It's just about as flawed as the old 5-second rule. Anyway, as far as structures go, you're more likely to get mold in airtight homes in the summertime with high indoor humidity trapped in there, and drafty homes in the winter with inside warmer air condensing. There is a narrow optimal temperature range for most mold to thrive, though it's been found to grow anywhere from the freezing mark right up to near average body temperature. Still, most strains cannot get going below 39 degrees Fahrenheit, hence why your best refrigerator temp is there or even a hair lower. Mildew is a little different from mold, still made of spores, but that is often just a surface thing. The name actually comes from the Old English for honeydew, which wasn't about a melon, but rather a byproduct of aphids on leaves. They tend to be white instead of all sorts of mold colors like black, blue, green, and even red. The pink stuff you find on your shower tile or curtains sometimes is actually closer to a yeast fungi than mildew. One last note, those little microbes can cause eye irritation, sore throats, skin rash, a slew of other problems in the short or long term. And even after a building dries out from flooding or a plumbing problem, toxin levels can still run high. One type of mold, however, Penicillium, can help destroy bacteria by attaching to the cell walls. That helpful bit of antibiotic knowledge was only discovered in the last century, though an estimated hundreds of millions of lives have been saved by it ever since. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
All right, welcome back to Weather Extra. A little chill in here
A little
tonight.
chill. I feel it in here, but I know it's worse outside.
Oh, yeah. Here on Red Mountain, it's all that ice cold north wind. It just
We're
hits
running
you.
to our cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but
tonight the wind chill is a factor, but
Absolutely.
tomorrow during the day it's not as windy, but the high only 44 degrees. Not a huge improvement out there. Weekend, Saturday still looks dry. Another hard freeze Saturday morning. And Tania, we're going to be watching those rain chances by Monday.
yeah, and next week, a little question mark on Thursday.
Yeah. Well, listen, some of the data was showing maybe some snow flurries or snow showers to the north. It's that time of the year. You know, we
Yeah.
got to watch that long range data closely. We'll have much more on that. Weather Extra, we have football tomorrow night, so we'll be back on Monday. We'll see you back here for the news tonight, first at 9.